This episode is sponsored by Battlephone.com, now with new lower shipping prices.
Fight for the Iron Kingdoms as a warcaster. Take control of the mighty jacks, arcane devices, and dark sorceries to bring the fight to the War Machine Hub on beastsofwar.com. Fame and fortune awaits in Blood and Plunder. Set sail in the golden age of piracy and claim the riches of the Caribbean at beastsofwar.com.
Good morning and welcome to The Weekender. I am joined by Justin in the chair.
I return.
Ben on the screen. Yes, you're back.
Hello.
Yes.
You're back.
Yes.
Let's get on with the show. It's good to have you back, Justin.
Yeah. We are missing a Sam, though.
We are missing a Sam. Sam is currently in a Polish castle.
Yes.
I was going to say pretending to be Harry Potter, but that's not fair. It's not just pretending.
He is casting his spells all over the locals.
He is LARPing.
Yes.
Let's get the lingo right here.
Yes.
He is spending the weekend LARPing, pretending to be a Harry Potter.
Actually, I'm not going to lie here. I'm a little bit jealous because it sounds like fun.
I'm a massive bit jealous. I think we three musketeers should be there right now.
Yeah, do you want to know the only problem? Everybody who goes to it has a notebook. Now, you're going to love this, where they actually keep all their character notes and stuff for the Norwegian LARP. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. I have the writing of a 5-year-old.
But that's okay. You could very easily, with your level of intellect, play a 5-year-old.
No, actually, I did have an idea for it.
Well, do you know what? Let's challenge, right? And we will start with you.
All right.
So, if you were going,
yes.
Okay, what would you choose to be? Because you can be a teacher, student, and then you can have all sorts of background. What would it be?
I would actually probably play a student.
Okay.
Okay, yourself?
No.
No. One at a time.
No. I want you to unload your full package, and then Ben will unload his full package, and then I shall release mine.
I don't really know the word well enough to make any.
Oh, come on, man! It's wizards. It's Harry Potter. It's
fine.
Make it up.
Fine. I would play a snarky little shit who always screws things up. Every spell I cast goes horribly wrong in some form or fashion.
Yeah. So you're keeping it real then. Yeah. You're keeping it within the realms of what you know.
Snarky little shit. Constantly screws up. Incredibly socially awkward. And thinks he's devilishly handsome when he's actually ugly as hell. There you go. How's that?
Dude. So you're just going for the easiest weekend possible.
Be myself.
What about you, Ben? What would you have a go at?
Well, I reckon I'd go there and try and be a little bit sort of like Hufflepuffian. So I'd be very interested in like being involved in all the stuff with monsters and plants and that kind of thing, sort of like the apothecary style kind of thing. I think that'd be really cool. So like going out into the woods and like hunting down wild beasts and things would be very cool. I think that would be kind of the angle I'd go down, sort of like a little bit of a dragon chaser style character.
Teacher or student though? Do
you feel that you like are you edging towards a bit of a Neville Longbottom kind of a feel there? Is that what you're kind of aiming for?
Well, you see, I need to know, is it a student or a teacher?
I think it would be cool to be this, or like an assistant maybe to one of the professors. That would be kind of cool. So yeah.
So I tell you exactly who he's going to be. Hagrid.
Yeah, more or less Hagrid. Yeah.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You have the look.
Yeah, you got the build for it.
I think the only possible character that I could play,
Mr. Filch.
No. What did you call that? that was in it. That was all smarmy and high and mighty, but couldn't cast for.
Yeah, the Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Yes,
Lockhart.
Yeah. I think I would have the best laugh. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? Here are my collected works. I think running around the weekend.
No, you see, the way you would end that is, have you seen my collected works? Join backstage. Buy merch.
Backstage. Buy merch for my collected works. I think like you, I'd go for an easy weekend. So I'd just run around being a pompous arsehole for the entire weekend.
This is actually an interesting topic. When someone actually LARPs,
yes,
I always find, anytime I'm doing any kind of role-playing, anything like that, having a character that has some aspects of my actual personality makes life easier.
Yes, and it also it's I think in many ways it's more fun because, let's be honest, right? Whenever all of this takes us back to when we were kids, when we played superheroes.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's great, to imagine that you are Superman or something like that there, but what you weren't actually imagining yourself as a kid as Christopher Reeve's Superman.
No,
you're always imagining you as Superman, and I think this kind of feeds into that. That it's more fun when it's you as something. So it's you with that bit extra, rather than having to. Because I admire actors, for example. I think any actor that can jump into a role in its entirety is an incredible thing. Yeah, to play something completely that you're not. But maybe even actors are doing that. They're bringing a bit of themselves into that.
You do get that.
I don't know.
You get the exact same whenever you read something like a novel. Whenever you're reading a novel, there are times whenever you will imagine yourself as the main hero. Mm-hmm. So it's something that's kind of built into you to be able to do that.
Yeah, but it's that thing of it's me with these bits added on, or with this bit removed. Yeah, it's never I'm somebody completely different. Yeah. So interesting stuff. Anyway. If you've been staying tuned to the site, we did task Sam with sending us little vlog updates of what he's at, so that we can torment him forever about his little trip into the wizard's castle.
I will say he has posted some images of him in his full getup. Mm-hmm. He looks pretty damn sharp. I'm going to give him that one. Yeah, I'm not going to let him live it down. Yeah. But he does look pretty damn sharp. But between us here on the weekend, he looks pretty damn good. Yeah. I'm never going to say it to his face.
No. We're just going to rib him relentlessly from here on out.
Yeah, same thing as what happened when he was on Game of Thrones as an extra.
Yes. Prepare yourselves, folks. Yes. Prepare yourselves. Right, in this episode, there's 2 big prizes in this episode. We're giving away the 11th Doctor and his companion set. Yes. And we are giving away, and we'll be announcing next weekend during the Salute coverage, the full Confrontation Resurrection package. The full Confrontation Resurrection pledge. Yeah. Somebody will win that on Saturday of next week. We will be announcing the winner of that, and then the Kickstarter launches some days after that.
So if I may go into a little more detail on that.
You may.
So within that pledge that you're going to win, is 178 miniatures. That's all 16 factions. And on top of that, every miniature unlocked during the campaign. Someone is about to get a mountain load of Hobby Love.
If you want to find out how to win that, stay tuned. We'll be talking about it at some point in the show.
At some point.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes.
Right. A couple of little updates. On Monday at 2 p.m. BST, I apologize, guys, because with the whole summer daylight savings thing, we changed from GMT to BST, blah, 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 blah. But at 12 p.m. BST, so midday UK time on Monday.
Yes, so not 2, which he said first.
At 12 p.m., midday, Monday UK time, we're doing a live Q&A with the Historical Editor Oriskany about Americans in Tunisia. So we're looking over that 4-part historical series, and bless me, we'll be having all sorts of interesting dialogue about that.
Awesome.
There will be no Weekender next week. Because we're doing Salute 2018 live coverage, and it's always massive and huge and just amazing. We have Ben, Sam, Lance, and Justin, and we'll be at the show covering the event. Do come along and say hello. Mm-hmm. You're not allowed to lick him, apparently. You're not allowed to kiss him. You're not allowed to slap his head. I get told off for that. I love slapping his head.
I do accept cuddles.
I'm not allowed.
I do accept cuddles.
He'll take cuddles and £5 notes, apparently. And he's taking pre-orders for merch the entire time he's there. So.
No, hang on. Sam's project lead. Let him handle the merch.
Okay, right. We have a jam-packed show for you, but to get us kicked off, it's time that we're going to have a look at a little bit of Doctor Who, are we?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I am joined by Charlie from Warlord, and we are going to talk a bit about Doctor Who.
Yes.
Now, I love Doctor Who.
Yeah. It's nice to have a resident Whovian here as well. I think
I am the resident sci-fi nerd on that score.
Cool. No, that's cool. We brought along some beautiful miniatures to have a look at today. We keep churning these out like nothing's the matter, and I think it's nice to be able to start showing some of the other Doctors.
Yes,
but I think before we get to the shiny Doctors, it's nice to have a little look at going back over, and picking up some of the the older baddies and things like that. So,
yeah, the older baddies are always my favourite.
Yeah,
and you've got some here from my favourite era of Doctor Who.
Awesome.
So
you'll
let's
know
take
a lot
look
more
at these.
about these than I will. So I just pass them over.
Oh,
and you can pop them under the camera.
Now let's see. This is a Dominator. What do you know about these guys, John?
Now, unfortunately, I'm more of a New Age Whovian, so I'm sort of David Tennant onwards, I would say. But so this is something you'll be a lot more familiar with than me.
Yeah,
I know that the aesthetic is really quirky.
Yeah,
and speaking of quirky,
speaking of quirky, yes, of course. Where there's Dominators, you will find Quarks.
Yeah, I know. They're so, dare I say, cute, and I think that's, as you look back now, over time, and what the baddies looked like, in comparison to what we see on the show these days. There's a huge difference between what's scary and what's not now. But these guys are, they're really cool in that, emphasizing that sort of era of sort of sci-fi as it was then.
Well, let's take another quick look. Can you pass the other guys?
Yeah, of course I can. Yeah. So there's,
there's the Dominator.
A couple of Dominators, and then 3 of the Quark robots.
Yeah. Problem is the Dominators are supposed to be about 2 meters tall each, so it's difficult to get them all under the camera right now. Yeah,
they are big chaps as well.
And as you can see, these guys come from the second Doctor's era.
That's your prime for Doctor Who, isn't it?
I love Patrick Troughton as the Doctor. The cosmic space hobo is the greatest Doctor ever. Yeah. And I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Yeah, but not much.
The intention is obviously over the period of us working with the BBC, we will endeavour to trot out every single Doctor at least once, if
wonderful.
Not with some multiple sculpts and stuff, which sort of brings us on nicely.
Oh
to,
yes, it does indeed.
Our friend Mr. Smith, sort of impersonated by Matt Smith, isn't it? And
let's see. Yeah, indeed.
Probably my favourite Doctor, I think, from the
New
Age. Yeah, just because he's different. He was very quirky in his own right. He wasn't. Obviously, David Tennant was great, and brought that sort of Shakespearean experience that he's got to Doctor Who. But I think Matt Smith brought just something completely new. And very sort of quirky, hipster almost, but not quite. And he's my favourite Doctor.
Now, you say he brought something very new. I love Matt Smith as the Doctor because he is very similar to the second Doctor.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He gives the impression of going around bumbling and making mistakes. Yeah. But in the end, you'll find out it was
all a master plan. Yeah.
Kind of like the seventh Doctor as well.
But it's nice to see other actors reimagine those Doctors of the past as well, isn't it?
And bring in those elements into the new character.
And the idea is with the sculpts, they do. We certainly feel really capture the character of the Doctor and their companions.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's difficult. It's different for Warlord to be doing something that's very true scale rather than where you look at Bolt Action, where the models are very heroic scale. A bit bulkier than maybe a normal human being would be. Whereas the Doctor Who range is meant to be very much a true scaled down version of the actual characters.
I'm surprised at the weight of them, actually. Yeah. They're a lot larger than I thought they would be.
They are, and so they do stand a little bit taller as well than some of your 28mm figures, just because they're meant to look that more sort of real life in terms of their scaling.
Well, you mentioned some of the companions, and we, of course, the Doctor has lots of companions.
Yeah. I'm going to have to jump the gun and put forward my favourite companion.
Please do.
Because Amy
Pond.
Not embarrassed to admit, I definitely had a bit of a crush on Amy Pond. So, yeah.
Who didn't?
Yeah.
Especially in that police. In that
of course, yeah. Yeah, and she was a great addition to the companions for the Doctor, I think, as well.
She was fun. She was a very fun companion.
She was, yeah. She was his sort of, I wouldn't say Jiminy Cricket, but she very much sort of brought the reason to the Doctor, that level, almost level-headedness.
Yeah, she wasn't afraid to talk him down.
Exactly right, yes, yeah.
But make sure... my personal favourite line in it is actually from the Neil Gaiman episode, where his TARDIS comes to life. And the sarcasm from Amy is brilliant, where he's just like, it's my TARDIS, and she's alive. Did you wish really, really hard?
Yeah. Well, and you can't obviously have Miss Bond without good old Rory.
Yeah. And I just want to take a second here to say, how well are these painted?
Oh, yeah. Kirsten has a passion for painting these.
Look at that.
Doctor Who figures. And as an in-house painter, I think she's worth their weight in gold. These are just absolutely stunning. You know, to get that check on the hoodies.
And even the shading on his nursing scrubs.
Yeah, of course the nursing scrubs, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I am in awe and very, very jealous.
She'll be very flattered. She's a very humble person, Kirsten. So I think it's worth obviously doing the.
Sorry, just one second. I just want to say one more thing about these three, because correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how they appear in the first season and the first episode of the Doctor. Is that something we're going to see? Will we be seeing alternate versions of the Doctor?
Definitely, but I'm really hopeful we're going to get Rory the Roman.
How
can we not do that?
Yes.
The first miniatures Warlord made were Roman legionaries.
Of course!
That's 10 years ago now.
Can we use him in Hail Caesar?
I hope so, yeah, especially as Rory the Roman.
That would be brilliant.
So yeah, it's nice because there's so much character as a TV series. It's just full of so many different types of characters, and I think we talked about the sculpt sort of impersonating that characteristic. You know, with Amy with her hands on her sort of hips, almost doing that dressing down of the Doctor, saying, you know, come on, what are you talking about?
Yes,
you know, it's great. And then Rory's quite subservient there. You know,
he's a bit more unsure. He's a bit more unsure. Back in the days when he died every episode.
Exactly, yeah. And he was a bit more sort of meek at the start, wasn't he? Rather than as he came into his own as the series sort of went on with Matt Smith. So yeah, it's nice to see them sort of really encompass these characters. Yeah. But yeah, I think we've got 2 sculpts for Matt Smith now.
Oh yes.
So there will be multiples as time goes on, and we get to play around with the different characters.
Brilliant.
It's just getting the BBC to keep up with our desire to just pump out miniatures.
Yeah, that is the problem with something like this. You just want to throw it all out there as soon as possible.
Definitely.
And we've got 2 more that we need to look for in this Doctor set.
It's a full 5-figure set.
Yeah.
And you've got Miss Song.
Yeah, River Song.
Given a full-on action pose there as well.
Yeah. River Song, when she first came into the series, I absolutely loved her.
Yes, yeah.
In fact, Silence in the Library, when she first appeared alongside Tennant.
Yeah.
That is one of my favourite stories.
I think there's always that. I like the mystery around River Song as well. There was always that, you know, we didn't really know. And it was that I did enjoy that as a plot hook that went through from Doctor to Doctor. It's been great.
Yeah, if you haven't watched them, I would thoroughly recommend it. But it gets weird.
It gets
weird.
It's Doctor Who.
Yeah. And alongside her, of course, there is the last of the 11th Doctor's companions.
Yeah.
Clara Oswald.
And again, you know, lovely, delicate sculpt.
Oh yeah.
And the paintwork, as I know you've pointed out already, but it's just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. The flowers on the dress.
It's just awesome. And so they're all single-piece miniatures when they come. You know, so dead easy. Pop out the box, get a bit of primer on them, and then take your time. It's something, I think, with the Doctor Who range, it's something it's a labour of love.
Yeah.
You know, it's something you do take your time over. You really pick out those details, and it's a good opportunity to really push yourself with your painting skills.
Yeah.
As well.
I don't know. The good thing about the quarks, if I can go back to them just very quickly, is, you know, the running joke about the second Doctor's villains is they were all made of tinfoil and cardboard boxes. So
definitely.
Maybe I could paint that.
I think I could manage a quark.
Yeah.
I think keeping up with this Rory is something else.
Let's just show that off again because, oh my word.
Yeah, it is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
I'm just going to bring in the rest of that set very quickly.
Can we get them all in? Yeah,
let's see if we can.
I think the Doctor's got to go frontline and centre somewhere as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. Let's see.
There he is.
There they all are.
Yeah.
And it looks like something's about to go terribly wrong.
It does look like something's about to go terribly wrong. Poor Rory. So that's just a taste of some of the new releases. We've got generally something coming out every month for Doctor Who. Regularly sort of adding to that sort of core game, so giving you the opportunity to play with different Doctors, to play with the different enemies and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a lovely range to have, and it really gives us something different rather than just the rest of a normal sort of 20mm heroic scale or historical models. We've got something that's got a lovely background to it, and you know, such an incredible license.
Yeah, the great thing about Doctor Who is you really can do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You want Cybermen to be taking over Moby Dick? That's fine. That's in there.
Well, touch wood, it's something we can hopefully bring into the likes of Bolt Action. You know, the Ironsides.
Oh, yes.
And Rory the Roman. You know why? You know,
why
as you
not?
mentioned, Hail Caesar. You know, the Doctor could go anywhere.
Yeah.
So you know, hopefully one day.
Yeah. Always, what was it? She always hated wise men in stories because they always turned out to be the Doctor. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we'll be getting on here. I can't wait to see what else is on the way from Doctor Who. And since this is, of course, a time travel one, we'll see you earlier.
Cheers.
It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com. Twisted aliens and demented cultists battle across the devastating science fiction world of Dark Age. Muster your forces and learn to survive at beastsofwar.com.
So, of course, after spending the entire start of the show telling you Sam isn't here, then Sam was here. That's wizardry, folks. That is wizardry.
You know, there's got to be big enough fireplaces in that castle to fit Sam into for him to port back.
Oh, you think he did a diagonal alley?
No, if he went diagonally, he'd end up on Nocturne Alley.
Well, he got here anyway, so he's our little Whovian, and he just loves all of that. Right. It's time to look at some of the news.
Yes.
Ben, what's going on in the world, man?
So the first little announcement that came out at the start of the week that I thought was an April Fool's until I checked the date was that Plaid Hat are actually working on an awesome game called Starships Samurai, right?
Oh!
This is a game where you play as samurai clans in the far future battling for the throne. A little bit kind of like what was happening back during the feudal period, but you're obviously now in space with massive spaceships and awesome fighters and also mecha samurai robots that are fighting it out as well. So the game has some really cool sort of aspects to it. It's got some nice area control elements. There's some political side to it as well, so there's a bit of intrigue. But most of it boils down to the war between the different factions as you fight for control of the galaxy. Now, I don't know too much about it just yet, but it's looking very, very cool indeed. And if anything is to go by what Plaid Hat did with Stuffed Fables, there's some awesome stuff coming for Starship Samurai in the future.
Starship Samurai. Did you get caught out much by April Fools?
I did see. Alright, I saw the usual obligatory Fireflies coming back. Didn't get caught by that.
Right.
Were there any that really come? I don't think there were this year. I didn't really go on social media this year.
I think I got away with it this year as well. Ben, did you?
I got caught by one from this place called theonering.net, which does a lot of stuff about the Lord of the Rings films, and now they're looking towards the Amazon TV series, and they put out a article that looked very, very official about Guillermo del Toro taking over control of this, and I was like, oh my god, this sounds amazing! Oh wait, it's April 1st. God damn it!
There was one that caught me for a heartbeat. The guys at Certifiable Studios put up a thing that they were starting a Netflix series, and they did it quite well to begin with. The start of the trailer looked really believable. You know, it was really nice documentary style, and then they started doing the Friends intro.
All right.
At that point I went, wait a minute, damn it.
If you spotted any great April Fools, put some links and stuff in the comments below, because it was I managed to get away and didn't get caught out once this time. So yeah, I kind of hid because this
is the thing.
I'm super gullible, I get excited over the slightest flipping thing. So April Fools for me is high blood pressure morning, because I just think everything awesome in the world is happening, only to find out that it's not.
It's the one time of the year that everybody looks at the news with a critical eye.
Yes.
True.
I believe we have a bit of Gloom Haven news.
Yeah, so Gloom Haven was the massive game that came out, back to Kickstarter last year. It's a huge, sprawling role-playing game where you get down with your friends and you play through this massive, huge board game experience that can last decades pretty much, with all the stuff they've got inside it. And you can go back and play through it all again. But they've also announced an expansion that's coming out this year. It's not clear whether it's coming to Kickstarter or just to retail. Probably just retail at this point. And it's called Forgotten Circles. And it adds in a new class to the game, but it also throws in 20 new scenarios for you to play through. There is 7 new monster types, 3 new bosses, and 14 items as well. So this expands on an already expansive experience as it is, with some more extra content for you to get stuck into. There's not too much to share about it right now. There's some artwork which is looking very, very cool indeed, and it'll be nice to see how it all blends together narratively. And importantly, whether or not you can bolt this onto the end of the campaigns you're already working through, so you can just carry on the story, which I thought would be very cool. But yeah, Gloom Haven is a massive, massive role-playing experience for people who've been taking it to the tabletop, with lots of very good board gaming elements in there as well. A bit of dungeon delving and stuff mixed in, which is cool. So yeah, if you're interested in Gloom Haven, make sure to check out this expansion that's coming out later this year. So
quick question then. Sam, you say you can play this game for decades. Is that decades in game time or actual decades in real world time?
Wait, are you channeling?
Channeling?
Are you channeling? Because you just said Sam.
Oh, sorry. I missed my little buddy.
Is the little dude actually here? Is he?
Sam, can you hear us? Can you hear us? No, Ben, can you actually play the game for real world decades, or is it in-game decades?
You could pretty much play this for decades if you really wanted to. The way that it's structured is that campaigns last for a long, long time. And playing through a session of it in of itself is a little about getting stuck into a proper role-playing game. So while there's a lot of board game elements to this, it very much feels like one of those experiences. So you know how you've heard about campaigns that last for years and stuff? Yeah. That's pretty much what they were trying to achieve with Gloom Haven here, but in a much more condensed format. It's a very, very, very good game. One of the big things about it that's really awesome is that your deck of cards that you use to play all of your abilities and stuff on the table, that's your life. So as you play through your cards, you've actually got to monitor this to make sure that you survive to the end of the dungeon and stuff, which is very cool. So
that is a very neat mechanic.
There are also lots and lots of legacy elements to it as well. So you actually get to choose the names of towns and put stickers onto a map and all sorts of things like that. So if you like legacy games and you like role-playing games and you like board games, then Gloom Haven is pretty much for you. So yeah, and the box is huge.
I love any game that lets me actually make the world feel like my world. So this sounds like one that may need to get looked at.
We have some new Crix models out for Privateer Press.
Yes, we do, Ben.
Yeah, so this is expanding on what's happening with Crix and their sort of look towards theme forces. So this is very much based around the idea of the raiders that we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks. We've got 2 new solo sort of characters being thrown into the mix. So you've got Axiara Wraithblade, which I thought was very cool, and Severa Blacktide. Now, what I really liked about these is this is an upgrade over some of the original models we'd seen for this range. So the Satyrix were a bunch of models from Crix that were really, really cool, but they really needed a little bit of an update. And so Privateer Press have come back and done some awesome resculpting, as you can see here, and the characters are looking fantastic. Loving the whole sort of gunslinging pirate theme that's been going on at the moment for Crix. It's very different from the sort of like undead style that we normally get with these guys, so it's nice to see a little bit of a change there. But then as well as that, we've got some really cool characters. So we've got the Shard Dirge Seers, and then when it comes to units, there's also the Black Ogren Smoke Belchers, so big ogre types that are walking around with cannons, which are very cool indeed. And then there's also the Blighted Trollkin Marauders. Now, I like Trollbloods anyway, so it's nice to see them being done a little bit more of like a darker spin, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, I love these guys.
Swinging around, flaming chains and everything.
God, awesome. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Very cool models.
And I am a massive fan of the Trollkin, just like Ben.
Yeah.
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Oh, I so want that. Imagine a unit of them. I'd stick a unit of them into my bolt action games, man. That's how cool they are.
See, it's nice to see the other side of Crix get some love, because you've got the main Crixian forces, which are all the Death Jacks and things like that, all the necromancy stuff. But then you've always had the pirate sort of side to the faction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see them get expanded. I think they recently got a big battle engine, didn't they, Dan?
Yes, they did. So it's like the back end of a ship, effectively, that has been sort of sheared clean, of the rest of the ship, and it's being held up by spirits and all sorts of things. Yeah. So if you like that, I think it's part of one of their sort of like high-end model ranges that you can go and check out. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I think it's like Black Anchor or something like that.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things about the whole idea around theme forces that we're looking at for Privateers Press at the moment is we should be seeing some releases very soon tailored more towards Khador. So if you're in the mind to pick up some Khador stuff, then watch out for that kind of those kind of models coming around the corner, because I know there's a new Sorcerer and there's some new Man of War models and things coming as well. So keep an eye out for those. Yeah.
Yeah, the new Sorcerer, if I remember right, is in a full suit of Man of War armor.
Yeah,
she is. Yes,
so it's super heavy duty. Utilitarian. Just looks like it's going to grind and pound people into the ground. I can't wait to see what the rules are for it.
Well, for our final bit of news, we have we're going to revisit Twilight. Now, you guys are hopefully going to hook up with Twilight while you're at Salute.
Yeah, I remember last year when we were at Salute, Lance actually went and got a couple of starter forces for me. He fell in love with them a little bit.
Loves Twilight. Ben, what have we got coming up from those guys?
Yeah, so these are the guys from Twilight who make an amazing range of very unique and original-looking creatures and races for their skirmish war game on the tabletop, and they're going to be at Salute next week, as you say. This was just a preview of what kind of creatures they've got coming out, because they're starting to expand into slightly more individual pieces now. And so we've got the likes of the Kitarak there, which is looking amazing. It's like their kind of take on a little bit of a dragon, which I thought was really nice. And then there's the Seldoth there as well, which is like almost like a sloth monster, which I thought was a very interesting look. And then as you go through, we've got some nice incidental pieces. So you've got those musicians there for the Empire. And then one of the things that I really liked was the way they're looking at these plant sort of objective markers for the game board. Because one of the things that I really liked about this is that while they're quite a small piece and ineffectually, quite like a separate part of what you might be looking at when you're trying to build a force.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things you'd use if you're using objective markers on the table. And they also mean that whatever table you're using, regardless of how much wood and like rocks are on it, these then add a little bit more of that fantastical element to things. And they start to develop the game and, tell us a little bit of a story, which I thought was really cool. But then as you look through, you've got some awesome-looking creatures as well. So you've got the Atakin there, which I thought was really cool. This one lives in the woods, and it sneaks out of trees and pulls adventurers down into the depths, which I thought was really cool. And then we've got some awesome little beasts of burden as well. So we've got the Varol there with its tusks. They've even gone into details about how these creatures eat and how they live out on the plains in the wilderness. And then there's the Martrum as well there, which is one of the beasts of burden, as we were saying, which carries around your packs and stuff like that when you're on the road. They're actually going to be doing an alternative version of this as well, which I thought was really cool. And then my favorite, as we go past the Kadeshi Queen Guard there, are actually the last preview on that page, which is the Varine. Now, they've put in their preview that these are some of the most vicious monsters ever to walk the Earth of Twilight. I think they're pulling my leg, but they may just be sheep that are deadly and murderous. And if they are, that is amazing. So very cool models indeed. Yeah.
No, my brain is just going no to these. I'm looking at it and going, that's not vicious, that's not deadly. That's cute fluffiness with horns.
It's okay, man. Just relax yourself. I'm going to tell you a story all about them in XLBS tomorrow morning. So, yeah, I'm going to tell them our story.
Our story?
Our story. It'll make sense tomorrow.
If you're a backstage, to tell our story?
If you're a backstager, join us tomorrow morning on XLBS, okay? And I will tell you this story. And if it's not in the show, it's because the editors have deemed it not okay to go in the shows. but we'll see. Hopefully it'll be there. Right. We have Confrontation up next.
Yes. Basically, we're going to get a very quick chat about what's happening with the Kickstarter, what the plans are for the future of the game, and just actually giving you a little bit of a look behind the scenes as to what's happening with Confrontation.
Take control of armies from the 5 kingdoms of Arcania and vie for the throne of the ancient king in Wrath of Kings. Master your skills on the battlefield over on beastofwar.com. From Viking halls to the cities of the future, terrain buffs will love our foreground hub. Watch gaming tables of all genres come to life at beastsofwar.com.
Hello everybody and welcome. I am joined by Jocelyn from... Okay, I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm going to let you say the company name.
Okay, so the company is Sans-Detour.
Sans-Detour, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Apologies everybody, my ability to speak French is not so good. So, Jocelyn, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank
You're
you.
bringing back Confrontation. This is one of those games that I have heard people speak about for years upon years upon years. Now, me personally, I actually missed out on the first showing of this amazing game in this.
It's a shame.
World.
It's a shame. You know that.
Oh, I feel that shame right now, buddy. I feel that shame. But I wanted to actually get sat down and have a chat with you about your plans for bringing the game back. So, you know, what is the initial idea you guys are looking to basically do here?
We have several steps to bringing back the universe, not only the game Confrontation, but the whole universe of Confrontation. And the first step is actually this Kickstarter campaign, which we call the Confrontation Classic. It will bring back the minis, the miniatures as there were back in the days, the glory days of Confrontation. We want the players to be able to have a taste of what was Confrontation back then. Have a look at all the factions that were developed by Rackham then, and see how rich and interesting is this universe.
Now, this actually gives you guys a very, very good springboard for launching a campaign like this, because you do have all of those classic miniatures, those sculpts and, you know, characters that people loved from way back in the day. Whenever it comes to adding to the world, because once a game is alive and is actually being supported by a company, we're always looking to see what the next great thing is. So, I mean, are you guys planning to add a lot to the world and actually let it continue to grow and expand?
Oh yeah, we have plans for this universe. The first one we already announced is Confrontation Resurrection, which will happen next year. Basically, there is a big event in this universe. It's called the Ragnarok, the apocalypse in this universe. And basically, Confrontation Resurrection will happen after this apocalypse. So there will be many changes into the universe, and it will allow us to offer our vision of the universe. The fan must have to be relieved, because not really. Confident about what we are planning for this resurrection, because we are all fans here at Sans-Detour of this universe, and we want to keep really what made this universe a real best of in the gaming industry. So we will keep the essence of the game, of the universe, and we will work on it a bit, so we can bring our vision on it a bit.
This is something I'm actually really happy to see, is that this is a game that so many people loved way back in the day, and it's actual fans who have actually stepped up to the plate and said, no, we don't want our world to die. We want to see it brought back to life. We want to see new ways to actually introduce new people, because we've seen recently some games have actually went the way of the dinosaurs and are no longer supported, and that leaves the onus completely on the fan base to actually keep those games alive. So this is actually a really interesting way to actually be a fan and actually, you know, take care of a game system and a universe that you love. Now, important question, when is the Kickstarter planning to launch?
The first one, the Confrontation Classic Kickstarter campaign, will launch on April the 17th, GMT +1, 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Excellent.
Yeah.
And what sort of things are people going to be able to grab? Because I know you sent me through some images here. I'm hoping that's some of the starter factions and stuff, yeah?
Yeah, basically, what I've sent you is the selection we made for the start of the campaign. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna start with 178 models, unique models. But it's just a start. It's really when we launch the campaign, it's what you are 100% sure to get in the box. But the thing is, with Confrontation, there is a lot more minis available. There is like in the catalog back in the days, 1,300 minis, different minis sculpted and sold. So we really want to make this campaign an event, a celebration of the game, because it's the 20th anniversary of Confrontation this year. Mm-hmm. So we really want to bring you a big box with a lot of different models. You'll be able to grab some big minis that aren't shown yet in the visual.
Oh, so hang on. You actually have surprises on the way.
Oh, yeah.
We like surprises here. Don't we, everybody? We like surprises here.
Yeah. Basically, it's a Kickstarter campaign, so we have a lot of stretch goals already planned, and we will give some hints of what's coming in the upcoming days. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, I mean, like... this being a game that I missed out on because I'm essentially a newer member of the wargaming community. I don't know if I can still say that for the amount of time I've been in the wargaming community, but whenever it comes to a real classic game like this, it's one of those ones you missed out on. So if you're one of those people out there who did miss out on it, this is definitely going to be one that you're going to want to jump in and check out. And if you're one of the old souls out there who have actually missed this game and wanted its return for years, definitely want to jump in and check out. Is there any other things you can sort of tell us or preview or sneak peek with us at the moment? Or is it just all now behind the curtains waiting for the Wizard of Oz to pop out and go, oh, by the way, we did this too?
Actually, you want to check our Facebook page in the upcoming days, because we have some stuff coming to discover just before the Kickstarter campaign launches.
Okay, fantastic. Well, all I can say is thank you very much for jumping on the show with us today and giving us a very quick teaser look at the Confrontation coming back to life.
Thank you for the opportunity, Justin. It was a real pleasure.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. The important thing with this industry, which I've found from day one of working in this industry, at the end of the day, we are all gamers. We are all looking to have fun. Yeah. We are all looking to tell great stories on the tabletop. And I think this is going to be another great window into a world to actually have a look at. So the only thing left to do is pass it all out to everybody in the community. Drop your comments in below. Basically, let us know your thoughts on Confrontation coming back. Are you excited? Are there some miniatures that you maybe really, really love from back in the day that you're looking to actually lay your hands on? Are you excited to see what the guys are going to be creating that's brand new? We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
Hi, I'm Alan from Lightseekers, and you're watching The Weekender with beastsofwar.com. Oh, yeah.
Okay, everybody, so keep your eyes out on the 17th of April when you're feeling that post-salute, I want to get more minis kind of feeling. Jump in and have a look.
Absolutely.
It's some of the most beautiful sculpts that have ever been on the market. Let's be completely frank right now. There are some sculpts in there that you just absolutely must own.
I am wolfing.
Yeah.
Cadwalden for me.
The wolves have always done it for me from Competition.
Okay, Competition. stay tuned. But because we can't let this man wait any longer for his favorite part of the show. We've given him a triple bill this week, according to my running order, yeah? We're going down Kickstarter lane. What's happening in Kickstarter, Ben?
Okay, so the first Kickstarter we're going to be looking at is one from Wordforge Games. Now, this is their 1/100 scale 15mm tank battle game called Armored Digital. And this is really cool. So this game is very, very quick and easy to learn. It uses card-based gameplay, but the really big thing for me that got me is the way that they've got like a programming system built into this. So, for example, if you've played any games like Robo Rally and those kind of games like that, where you place cards down to the table to begin with and then you unveil the orders as you go, this has got a cool element of that mixed into it, which I thought was very interesting. Mm-hmm. The other cool thing about this as well is that we've also got an element of base building built in. Well, sorry, not base building, but unit building in the game. So what you're able to do on the tabletop is you're able to switch up your strategies. So, for example, if things aren't working too well, you can sort of go into your collection on the side and raid through it and think, these are the kind of tanks I need for this. I'll bring them in and I'll use some of the game elements in order to build these and put them on the tabletop, which I thought was a very cool idea indeed. So, yeah, an interesting one there from Wordforge Games.
Yeah, now, I actually had a closer look at this earlier today because they've got 4 videos up there that show you how to move, how to shoot, and how the actual turn sequence works. But they also show you the element where you can actually repair your vehicles mid-game and actually construct new units mid-game. Mm-hmm. So that it's sort of an RTS element, which it has a little bit of a Command and Conquer feel in that sense, doesn't it? It does. So, well, the way it works is, if I scroll back up here very quickly to here, so you have the automated mine, right? Yes. With a little transporter. Mm-hmm. That grabs resource from the automated mine in a new phase of the game that gets added and takes it to the Wombat mobile factory. Yeah. And what you'll have in front of you is a set of cards telling you what the cost of material is to create a new vehicle, but also how much time you have to spend putting orders into the mobile factory to actually create that vehicle. So if you don't have enough orders in your hand, you could start creating a vehicle, not have enough to finish it during that phase, and then possibly your Wombat gets destroyed while you're halfway through building a vehicle. Ooh, so I like this idea of constructing resources on the fly. Yeah, it also means that if you lose, say, a key tactical piece for your force, you could replace it. Yeah, or if you see that something's taking an absolute hammering, you can start like a fighting retreat to actually get back to the Wombat to get it repaired and back up into the fight. This is something me and Lloyd just to toy around with the ideas in our games of 40k, because we were always big fans of the Dawn of War series. And one of the great things about Dawn of War was you were able to construct these factories that spat out units. So myself and Lloyd, some years ago now, toyed around with some additional kind of house rules and things like that to allow us to generate rhinos and full of men and barricades and stuff. Remember the megalith. Absolutely. I have actually some of the minis here. Yes. Now, the only thing I'm not sure of is I don't know whether these are finals or prototypes. They look to be resin casts from a 3D print, because if you look underneath them, you can see the scaffolding pits on some of them. So let me just have a quick look and see. Yeah. So let me show you what we've got here. Yeah. So that's your Centaur. This is the Centaur. I think these are lovely. Yeah. This is something important to the gameplay as well. If I'm correct, and I hope I'm correct, I believe this is your command vehicle, right? Yeah. And one of the things that you actually have to do is whenever you're laying down your order cards, your actual combat units have to be within range of your command vehicle. Yes. So it gives a very different sort of feeling. Now, next up we have the Wolf. Yes. Now, so let me put that this is an interesting one. There we go. Because each of your vehicle types have different sort of mobility abilities, different armor types, different weapon types. So this one in particular, it's got reactive armor. I'm just experimenting to see which way the turret looks best. The turret looks best that way. I love turning tanks turret backwards, because I think that they then look like old German tanks. Like look at that there. Well, actually, that would be it. Whenever it's being transported from combat zone to combat zone, they always did that. That's a nice looking tank. Yeah. Next up, we have the Rhino. Yes. So really check out this bad boy. If I remember correctly, this one has reflective armor. Yeah. And I can't remember what the reactive or reflective. reflective. So this is something that's very important, is your armor type whenever you're on the tabletop. Because
and just to show you, there's also little details on the undersides of
those are your little scaffolding pips that I was talking about.
Look at that one there.
Oh, actually, yeah, that one's got all the suspension sculpted in.
So isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah.
Look at this bad boy
your
here.
elephant.
That's just monstrous there.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's he's
Artillery
happy to,
piece.
happy to be here. Put that down, boy. There we go. Very nice.
The actual
These are lovely little pieces, you know. It'll be fun. What I love about this is you can have loads of these. And let's be honest, you want to play a game like this, you want to collect a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
So that's your Viper.
does the game look like it'll scale, Ben?
From what we can see, yeah, it looks like it's going to be an interesting game to go from sort of like smaller units up to like mass battle size. So yeah, it should be pretty cool. And because obviously it's 15 mil, that's kind of an interesting angle to this, because it means you can get a lot more stuff on the tabletop, play over larger areas as well, maybe even have different biomes going on as well on the tabletop, which would be cool. So yeah.
Who's this?
Oh, that's the Meerkat. Simples.
That's the Meerkat. Awesome.
Yeah, one of the things I saw for the actual turn sequence that I found quite interesting is whenever you actually begin the combat phase of your turn, you and your opponent actually, first you roll your basically command ability to determine how many action cards you get into your hand during a turn.
Yeah.
And then you actually roll for a different roll, which is to see who's going first in the turn.
Yeah.
Which actually means if you roll high enough, you could get 2 activations at the start of the round before you start taking turns at taking activations. So you could get a little bit of a jump on your opponent to do a little extra damage or reposition yourself a little bit, which could be very cool.
I've one last wee model. Do you know what this one is?
I believe... Oh, that's the Polecat.
The Polecat. So it's like a rocket launcher, isn't it?
It looks like a small recon vehicle. One thing I like with these miniatures is it's very easy to sort of determine what their roles are.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the Meerkat, that to me looks like either a spotter...
Which one's a Meerkat? This one.
It's either a spotter or a command vehicle.
Yep.
Whenever you look at the Viper, you're going to look at that and say,
which one's the Viper?
The angled one on the far end.
There we go. There's the Viper. Yeah.
It looks like sort of a medium to main battle tank. When you look at the elephant, you know that's your artillery.
That's the elephant. Even I remember that one.
Yeah. Whenever you look at the wolf.
There we go. Is that the wolf?
Yes, that's the wolf.
Well done. Yeah.
Again, that looks like a main battle tank.
Yeah.
And because all of this looks very, very modular, you know, this is the way that a lot of military design is going these days. They're designing vehicles that you can just pop certain components out, new components in, and they change roles within the battlefield.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a fan of the art direction that they're taking on this.
Well, speaking of art.
Oh, here we go.
So,
that's nice.
So that's a Wombat Mobile Factory building what would appear to be a wolf.
A wolf, yeah.
Yes. So
at first
very,
glance,
very
it
cool.
does look like a wolf, doesn't it? Yeah.
Whenever you look at that reactive armor on the side. But also the way that you track your health in this game is interesting as well. So you will essentially have a defense stat, right? And for each point on the defense stat you have, that's a dice you can roll to defend yourself.
Yeah.
But for every point of damage you take, you start losing those dice. So as you take damage, it becomes more likely that you will become damaged.
Yeah. So
and when you're out of that stat, you're dead.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Well, it's nice to make a game that's killy.
10 days left on Armored Digital, so if you're interested in getting in there and grabbing yourself a whole bunch of little 15mm tanks, the casting quality is lovely on those. I've got to say.
It is currently fully funded with 12 days to go. So now it's on to stretch goals.
Right. Next up, Ben, we have Arena the Contest.
Yeah, so you might remember that we talked about this a while ago on a Weekender as a news piece, as a prospective Kickstarter. Now, this is by Dragori Games, and this is a tactical miniatures board game for 1 to 8 players. So it's got a solo element, which is always cool to see. This game can be played in 2 different game styles. You can either play this PvP, where you all get stuck into an arena and you battle it out, or you can play it as a cooperative dungeon crawling adventure.
Yeah.
There is also PvE in the arena as well, if you wanted to throw in that kind of thing into the mix. So what you'll do when you set up is you'll choose heroes, and then you'll build yourself a customizable arena. Now, the arenas themselves come with a basic floor, and then you'll add the elements on top of it. So this could be the addition of traps, this could be terrain elements, and all those kind of different things like that, as well as a different choice of enemies. And then what you'll do in a singular session is you'll sit down, duke it out with your heroes, and see who comes out on top. The big thing for me, though, is when it comes to the PvE side of things. And this is where you can play this game a little bit like a role-playing game, kind of a bit like what we've been talking about with Gloom Haven so far today in the show. So what you'll do with this is you'll choose your different characters, and then you'll go through a series of linked campaign scenarios and play through these as a group, delving down into the arenas and the dungeons that you've been setting up in slightly different ways, and telling a little bit of a story and delving into the narrative of the world. Now, there's some fantastic looking characters in this that have been thrown in there. So there's one guy that's a werewolf, which is pretty awesome. So that should appeal to you there, Warren.
Absolutely.
But then you've got all kinds of typical looking fantasy characters as well, and then going into slightly more different things too. So you've got a fallen angel, there's the wizards and the hunters and witches and all those kind of things. The thing that really got me with this is that it kind of appeals to that sort of area of sort of tabletop gaming where maybe you're sitting there with a big group and you've been playing through the same thing loads and loads. So, for example, Star Wars Imperial Assault or Descent. But then a couple of people can't make it and they're like, oh man, we can't even carry on with that campaign. Well, this game kind of solves that, because what you do is you, instead of just carrying on with the PvE side of things, you sit down, you still get to play the game, but you just do the PvP variant instead, which I thought was a really cool idea. The characters themselves break down into a bunch of different classes. So you've got brutes, tacticians, tanks, healers, shooters, controllers, and bruisers. So anyone who's familiar with MOBAs might see some sort of parallels there. Yeah. And the whole mechanic behind the game is very much card-based. So you'll have a whole bunch of cards that will activate your different actions that you do on the tabletop. And then you'll use a very familiar D20 to resolve all of your actions against the enemy's defenses. And there's a whole bunch of modifiers thrown in there as well, and obviously you'll have environmental effects going on at the same time as too. The miniatures are looking really good for this. One of the big things and one of the selling points I talked about is that a massive dragon that they've got part of this collection. But yeah, it's a fascinating looking game, and if you're interested in the idea of doing a whole bunch of different things with the same system, this seems like one of those interesting melting pots of ideas that you can go and check out online. So yeah.
See, I think this, Warren, is great for you.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know about you, but I am getting total vibes of Hero Quest from this, just for the way you lay out your boards and stuff, and the way the mechanics actually work together. One of the cool things, if I can find it.
It has doors as well, and doors always get me.
But you either have door standees, or if you go for the next pledge up, you can actually get physical doors.
You want the resin doors or the plastic doors, absolutely. Every single time, you want the fanciest flipping door that you can get.
Okay, one of the interesting components for me is, you see on the game board, this outside track is, I believe, how you actually track the health of each of your heroes.
It is, yes.
So everybody can very easily see, oh, who's the weakest, who am I going to stab in the back to finish them off?
Yeah.
I've also seen within the video, you can actually knock people into the fire. If you're playing like the Minotaur character, you can charge through them, bash them into the lava.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there's some
I've got to say, the game itself appeals to me immensely. The weakest part of it is the game board for me.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to see some additional design and stuff like that go into the game board, because I'm loving all of the components. I'm loving the miniatures. The dragon's fabulous.
Yeah.
But the weakest aspect of it for me would be the game board at this stage.
You have this preset one for your arena fights, and then you have the more custom one.
Yeah.
Which is, I know, if you had this sand texture on the blank one, I would be a lot happier, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I probably just got to see it. I probably just got to see it.
Yeah.
And with all the wall bits and pieces down. One of the things about Hero Quest, for example, was the fact that, with the 2.5D dungeon that it effectively was, once you put your furniture and your doors and stuff on it, it really did, for a young mind, it really did just pop to life. But that was then. You got to go beyond that now to get the same kind of effect, because you got your Dwarven Forge guys and all those that are doing amazing things. So these guys, and anybody doing a dungeon crawler these days, the board is crucially important. You've got to get the boards looking.
It's your canvas
looking
for
right.
Your world. Simple as that.
Okay, Ben, you give me the triple. Where else are we going today?
So the last one is by Artem Savavor, and this is Unbroken, a solo game of survival and revenge. So, as the title might suggest, this is a solo game. You play it in 20-30 minutes, which is pretty awesome for anyone who's getting down to stick a game in during a lunch break or something like that. The whole premise behind this is that your dungeon delving party has gone down into the darkness in order to search out treasures, and everyone is dead apart from you.
Right.
And you now have to escape from the darkness, fighting all the monsters by yourself, and get out before horrible things happen to you. So the game comes with a whole bunch of different scenarios and stories for you to play through, and there are 4 different character types as well. Each of the different scenarios has a variety of different monsters thrown into the mix as to go with it, and it's got a sort of like a survival, almost fighting fantasy element to things in this as well. So what'll happen is you'll reveal encounter cards, and then you'll have to decide how best to spend your time, because you've only got a limited amount of time to get out of there. For example, you might reveal a card and it will say that you find a body on the ground and it has some resources on it, or you could take some gold instead. And you'd have to weigh up whether or not you've got enough time to harvest the resources and maybe even make yourself something like lash together your shield and make that better, or steal the sword from a body, etc., or just take things and run. Or maybe you spend some time defeating the monster to try and get all its treasure, or you try and escape from it as quickly as possible and try and get to the next page and the next scenario card as quickly as you can. So there's an element of push your luck thrown in here, and there's survival aspect to it, and the adventure just sounds amazing. The artwork looks really good for this as well, and it's one of the things that really drew me into it. And it's almost got a little bit of like a grim dark feel to it as well, which I thought was really neat. So if you're interested in getting stuck into a game that is solo and it's something you can pick up, and it's got that nice fantasy feel to it, it's got a lot of replayability, because obviously when you sit down to play it again, maybe try and do things in a different order. They have said that the game is very tough, so you're very much encouraged to come back and try loads of different tactics to try and get through to the end of this game. And just looked absolutely amazing, and as a solo game, something to pick up for a lot of people out there that are looking for that kind of thing. So yeah.
Fantastic. Right, that is your lot for this week. On to the competitions.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have prize winners to announce.
So, first up, to win the 11th Doctor Who and the Companion set, okay, all you have to do is come across to beastsofwar.com, create yourself a free account, and tell us who your favourite Doctor is and why.
I'm going to pin my colours to the mast on this one straight off the bat. Has to be David Tennant. By far the best Doctor for me.
Okay.
See, we're starting the war already.
You were about to flip my switch there, man, but then you saved it. That's okay for you. That's fine. For me,
no blanket statement.
For me, it's one of two. One obvious and one probably not so obvious.
Okay.
My obvious one is Tom Baker.
Okay.
Because Tom Baker here, I grew up with Tom Baker being Doctor Who. So when you say Doctor Who to me, the only thing that flashes in my mind is Tom Baker. My not so obvious one is if of all the Doctors, this is the one I believe was the best of all of them.
Wait to hear John Hurt.
Christopher Eccleston.
Okay.
I think there would be no Doctor Who today. Only his performance of Doctor Who saved the entire franchise, because by the time it had got to him, it had been off the screens for a number of years, had a failed reboot, and the reason being it was okay, the entire thing had went crap. Eccleston's performance, with the limited budget and limited effects and stuff that they had, what he did with Billy Piper, I thought was absolutely fabulous. And really re-energized the entire intellectual property for me. So I credit him with being the best Doctor.
One of my favorite pieces of Doctor Who content was the dramatized documentary that they did. With what was the fella's name? They actually went right back to the beginning, hired an old actor to actually replay the first Doctor and the experiences of becoming the Doctor as an actor. It was really interesting. I can't remember.
Ben, do you want to pick a favorite Doctor?
I'd actually have to side with Justin. I really like David Tennant, because he was the guy that really got me stuck into the TV series and enjoying the new version of it. But I also really like Peter Capaldi. I think that he's unfortunately been one of those Doctors that has had an amazing presence on screen and is great, a bit like Matt Smith, but just had terrible writing. And you can only do so much with that. I'm also kind of looking forward to what they do with Jodie Whittaker. Obviously, it'd be very cool to see how that comes together. But David Tennant, and then creeping in behind him, Peter Capaldi. So
okay. I can imagine Capaldi doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so create a free account here on Beasts of War and post in the comments. Tell us who your favorite Doctor is and why.
Yes.
And whoever comes up with agreeing with me will win a prize. No, somebody will be picked at random from that.
Yeah, of course.
Next up, the big Behemoth Prize.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the full Confrontation Resurrection pledge.
Yep.
A core box of the Kickstarter campaign containing the 178 miniatures of the starting selections for all 16 factions and every miniature unlocked during the campaign. How do they win this one?
Well, for this one, I'm actually going to read this. Which of the Confrontation warbands or factions is your favourite from the old range?
Okay, and you can comment to win on that either here on beastsofwar.com or on YouTube, on this show on YouTube, or this show on Facebook.
Yeah, now this particular contest is running on a very, very tight time frame, okay?
Don't hang around.
Yeah,
do not hang around.
Get those comments in, because the winner will be announced on the 14th of April during our salute coverage. So
yes.
Keep a close eye on it. Basically, make sure, check Facebook, check Beasts of War, check the live stream, check the live blog, and check on the main YouTube channel, because we're going to make sure and post it out to make sure the winner of this amazing prize is going to know about it, all right?
You're one lucky sod. Whoever walks away with that is like... It's just
Yeah.
like a box of everything anybody ever wanted in their lives.
Joy, hope, happiness, and dreams
all
in a
in
box.
there. Right,
Yeah.
let's give some stuff away. So,
Yes.
First up, we're going to give away the Shui Warrior Monk Pack.
Yes.
And the winner of that is Recon63.
Yes.
He commented with, would love to see the Batasai from the Renoi Kenshin manga versus Thugs in a Dojo. In a dojo, that's a good idea.
That's a classic piece of cinematography from old martial art movies.
Or the Batasai versus the Shogun's troops in the final battle during the revolution. So we were talking about the Test of Honor game, and we were thinking, what cool kind of encounters and scenarios could you have? I talked about the bamboo, but having it I wanted to create this kind of like big bamboo field, right, where it was kind of like hidden tiger, crouching dragon, kind of a thing, right? But what I was going to do was I was going to have white tiger. No, I wasn't going to have white tiger. I was going to have the bamboo, all big tall bamboos, but I was going to have little platforms. So your guys were kind of jumping from bamboo to bamboo, up and down, and stuff like that. They're all fighting. Ah!
I see. For me, if I had to pick, like,
the only thing that'd be better is if we dangled them off tiny little wires and just swung them back and forth at each other.
See, one of my absolute favourite fight scenes that I've ever seen that I would love to see recreated on the tabletop was from Afro Samurai Resurrection, and it's Samuel L. Jackson in an anime, so it's instantly great.
With an afro.
Yes, with an afro.
Perfect, yep.
And it's basically him wearing a hat that completely encloses his head, wicker hat, walking down like a pier, and these two fencers jump out in front of him and start attacking him. So they start swinging blades and stuff at him, trying to kill him. They hit the hat, and all you see is the hat just go pfft, and the massive afro fly by.
So you're thinking...
I would turn something like that.
Why am I getting visions of Double Dragon through my mind here?
Oh, no, not that. Oh, God, that old movie.
So
I forgot that one.
It was a video game that was coming into my mind. So you're thinking a pier with lots of different kind of things that you fight as you move along the pier.
You know that very classic 2D side-scroller?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Really cool on the tabletop.
Awesome.
Streets of Rage style.
Well, Recon63, congratulations. Reach out to us using the Claim a Prize button that's up there in the drop down.
Yeah, on beastsofwar.com.
Next up, we're going to give away Dread Ball 2nd Edition bundles.
Yeah, so these were the launch bundles for Dread Ball 2nd Edition.
And our first winner was?
Jerry Harry from YouTube.
And Ben, our second winner was?
Jimmy Terry Taylor from Facebook.
Epic name, by the way.
And we also are giving one to Warfield here on Beasts of War. So, guys, get your prize claims in.
Yes.
And then we have the biggies. Oh, it's time to give away the Adepticon swag bags.
Yes. So,
okay.
Some of these winners have already been announced, but I thought it would be a great idea to re-announce them here on the Weekender, just in case they were missed, because if there's one thing I hate, it's seeing people miss out on prizes.
Correct.
So, our first winner is Panzer Tanker 64. Congratulations, buddy.
You have won yourself an Adepticon swag bag.
Yes.
We have two to give away, so our second winner is Mac1 Gamer, MC1 Gamer. You have won the second of the Adepticon swag bags. We also have a winner of the Guild Ball Kickoff.
Yeah, we had two of those to give away. One has already been claimed.
Okay.
So the other winner is this.
And it goes to Coyote, Khyote.
Coyote.
And then we have two Dark Age Path to Glory prizes to give away, and our winners are Fidge Lily, and Geezer UK.
Yeah.
And that's
lots
us.
of gaming goodness, lots of people doing their jammy dance.
And get your comments in if you want to win the Doctor Who or the full Confrontation Resurrection pledge. A big thank you to you guys. I will see you both again in the morning over on beastofwar.com for Backstage.
Yes, on Sunday.
We'll be talking about our sheep and goats.
Oh, no, not this.
Okay. Come and join us. If you're not already a Backstager, do it. Buy merch. Become a Backstager. Help us keep the lights on.
Yeah.
The rent's going up. So yes. So we need help. We need help real bad now. So if you've ever been on the fence, get off the fence and help us pay the rent. Because if we ever needed you, we need you now.
Yeah.
And in return, we try to give you a load of extra content and a load of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. First bite for boot camps.
It's just great fun over in Backstage. Guys, thank you very much. And most importantly, thank you to you guys. Have a great week of gaming. And remember, next week we will see you for our salute coverage. Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.